This is a story of how I came to identify as pansexual. So, I'll start by saying sexuality isn't linear. I will also start by saying sexuality isn't always clear or obvious, right? I took a deep dive into my sexuality as a journey, as an experience, and as an exploration of self-discovery in my late 20s to early 30s. That's when I started like deep diving into my sexuality and exploring and questioning more deeply who I am as a sexual being. By this point in my life, I was married and divorced, and I had 2 children. Okay. History. I have never identified as heterosexual. I have identified as bisexual because in my experience of who I'm attracted to, I was only ever aware of men or masculine presenting people and women and feminine presenting people. Before that, I hadn't had any direct encounters with other persons who identified as other genders, under the trans umbrella, trans woman, trans man, or non-binary or androgynous person, or I don't know what all the gender identities are, but you get what I'm saying. So here I am, I'm identifying as bisexual. So going on, this journey of my exploration, I'm dating other, I'm just gonna call it genres of people. I'm a genre, they have their genre, I'm dating other genres of people. And I went out on a date with a person born female that dressed androgynously. However, their energy and their like presentation, for lack of a better word, came off to me as masculine. Every time that I would sense her or imagine her or think of her in my imagination, in my mind, in my mind's eye, even though I knew she was born female, she would show up as a man in my energy. As long as that makes sense to anybody. So being new to this and not having had this happen before to me, I am having this conversation with this person. I'm very sexually attracted to them, and they keep popping up in my energy as a man. And so I'm thinking meat. Okay. I'm finna get some meat. And then I'm like, boop, no, that's not what she has, And of course I know, straps, we know. Okay. We know. At this time though, I didn't know. At this time when I'm on this journey, I didn't really know. Wasn't really a porn watcher, casual porn watcher, whatever somebody else was watching in the background. That's where I was with porn on my journey. And I did have a collection of porn, but it was not porn I went in and chose and looked at and explored myself. It was porn given to me by dudes. By dudes. Okay. So let that be what it is. And like I said, I didn't watch them. I had them for encounters and playing in the background because, some people like that. And I don't have no problem with that. Honestly. So yeah, I'm on this date with this person. I'm very sexually attracted to them, and I keep thinking that about to get me some deep, and no, but I may have been, but I wasn't. This is my first time. This is my first rodeo. So all of the women that I'd been attracted to and dated in the past were all feminine presenting women in the social, perspective of it. So this is my first time on a date with a person born female who was androgynous in their appearance, and their energy was completely masculine. I don't know how else to explain that. It was here that I started questioning something else is going on here. Like something else is happening here. Because, I know I'm attracted to male presenting. I know I'm attracted to, female presenting. And now there's this third thing happening. There's this third gender identity that I'm attracted to, that I'm confused about what gender it is, and it's not making me any less attracted to this person. It's not making me say I don't want to go there with this person. It's just making me curious, it's just making me question, like, even though I've been with people with, different, never mind, okay? It's just that my brain didn't know what to do with it. It was just a little bit glitching, because female, androgynous presenting, penis, but no, like my brain is keep telling me I'm gonna get some penis, and I'm not gonna get penis. At least that's not what she has. And so eventually going on my journey of self-discovery in my sexuality, I learned about pansexuality. And I learned all of the requirements, because that's what I call them, to be pansexual. And then some kind of way, I don't know if it was in the definition of the word or just maybe a topic in a conference, because that's how I learned a lot about sexuality, through conferences that I attended, that I learned that when it comes to pansexuality, you can just be attracted to the person, not knowing their gender and not even caring, because it's not about what's between their legs. And when I heard that part, that is really when I knew I was pansexual, because I'm like, yeah, when I'm attracted to a person, I'm not really focused on what's between their legs, which is why my brain be glitching out, because it really doesn't matter to me, like in my body, in my mind, because of the conditioning and because of the indoctrination, is glitching out about it. My brain is like malfunctioning. This does not compute, but it feels true in my body, right? So that is the story of how I came to know that I am pansexual, and eventually came to the space where I'm doing this retroactive learning and understanding that this is how I would identify. So pansexual is how I choose to identify, and that's why.